What a wonderful face on this very, very dear little boy. The Kling model face, it's so representative of their work and always is very, very gentle face and gentle smile. And this little boy, well, he just has everything going for him. Aside from his wonderful bisque and sculpting, his glass eyes, his ruffled shirt with the blue on the bottom, and then the ruffled edging that has little white dots on it. He has this sculpted gray and black cap. And let me turn it slowly so you can see the detail of it. It's just wonderful. This is an example of the rarity of the doll, the rarity features of the sculpted collar, the glass eyes, the sculpted bonnet, but more than that, this incredible presence and wonderful, wonderful personality of the doll. We have the boy, and now we have the man. As you can see, and as many of you probably are very much aware as you're looking at this, a lot of the Bisque dolls with sculpted hair made into smaller sizes became what we refer to as dollhouse dolls. Miniature-sized dolls that were in scale to be put in with dollhouse and the furnishings. This man is a little bit bigger than a standard dollhouse size, but he has, and I hope the camera can come in very, very tight on his face so you can see the wonderful definition of, he is not just painted to kind of represent an elderly man, but he has all of the sculptural definition of, and dimensions in his facial modeling. Very, very portrait-like model, and again, if we could only ever find the documentation that would show us who these figures were meant to represent. Just so you can see how actually small some of these dolls could have been made, here is our 8-inch soldier gentleman, and he's standing next to two tiny little Bisque dolls with sculpted hair wearing their factory original costumes that are so very, very precious. And even in these smaller sizes, look at the detail that continues, including the sculpted black bow on the woman's head and the sculpted hair ribbon around the little girl's head. This is a little bit later period. This is probably into the mid-1880s. But it's very unusual in that it has, number one, it tends to have, the faces got rounder and more childlike into the 1880s and shorter throats as opposed to these elegant ladies I've been showing you up till now. So theoretically, you'd think that this would be a child. But look at how it's painted. It's painted with gray hair and obviously designed to represent an older woman. Very, very wonderfully sculpted hair. And let's look at it all the way around. Decorated with a pink ribbon on the top, 3 big looped curls at the back. And if we can stay with the older woman for a moment, let's go back to our idea about how things could be reduced to be smaller examples. Here's a wonderful example, following it through, of the German grandmother. Here she is in a dollhouse size with the gray sculpted hair. She has a black bow at the back of her head, and she is holding her own little doll, which is a further miniature version of herself, only this little lady she's holding has a top knot and is a little peddler doll. And I'm just going to turn you around so you can see at least of the grandma, the black bow at the top of her head. This is very, very rare. Little miniature dollhouse model, and again showing you how the Bisque dolls with sculpted hair were done in so many variations of design, of decoration, of color themes, and of sizes. And finally, I want to conclude with 2 dolls that are probably the rarest I have seen of this type ever. Maybe one other example that we have sold that was from the Legoland Museum when we sold it several years ago, and it was as ornately done as the 2 I'm about to show you, but I've never seen any others. They are extraordinary beyond words. At this point, the cobalt glass eyes and the rare brown hair and the pierced ears, they are the common parts of this doll because everything else about her is so extraordinary. There is, of course, the very wonderful ruffled Dresden collar around here, and I think you can see her beautifully woven cap. And look at the design that's woven into it. It's a woven straw design. It's not just a flat yellow cap, but it actually has a woven design in it. It has the magenta ribbon with accented gilt designs on it, the blue feather at the side, and we turn it all the way around. You can see her brown hair, and the way the cap is set on her head is a perfect study for anyone who wanted to do historic costume study of this time period, this 1865 time period. The way these doll manufacturers designed the caps and the hairstyle and all, this was fashion of its time, perfectly arranged. She is a truly extraordinary doll. And then, I guess you could almost say this is her sister, is this very, very fine example, almost like a sister model to the preceding. And again, she has the rarity factors of the brown hair, the cobalt blue eyes. She has the ribbons of her bonnet that extend all the way under her throat. And again, this two-shaded pink, a ribbon, the striped ribbon like we saw in several other examples, that same common theme carried through and tied in this big, wonderful bow underneath her neck. And then you can see that her brown hair, rare brown hair again, is pulled upward, combed upward with very deep comb marking and definition, and captured underneath this gray bonnet that has black ribbons and streamers and Dresden flowers and leaves and gilt edging and all of the wonderful decorations you could possibly think of. She is truly an extraordinary doll, and I will tell you, you could search for the next 3 decades and not find another example of this doll. That is how extremely rare she is. There are many people that feel that these dolls were made for exhibition purposes only and never put into production, and we don't have anything to actually prove this, except we can say, based on their rarity, this is probably a fairly good assumption to make. So I've been very happy to share with you some of my favorite dolls from the 2-volume book Stars that we have just published here at Theriault's for an upcoming auction, featuring collections of some very notable collectors. The dolls that I've shown you here with the Bisque doll and sculpted hair are from the private collections of the estate of Mildred Adkins and the estate of Mary Young, and some very, very rare examples. And I hope that you will have a chance to enjoy the video, to get the book, to have the information about these dolls in your possession forever, and hopefully you can come to their exhibition and see these and about 50 more of equal quality. I thank you, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you.